Hey guys, it's Emma Vingling with TYT Politics. We're here on our Disappearing Middle Class tour. We are in Euclid, Ohio. It's kind of a suburb of Cleveland. I'm here with Tatiana. Hi, Tatiana. So you work in a daycare. I mean, I think that your story is symbolic of a lot of people right now. I mean, Bernie Sanders talked a lot about the disappearing middle class, and there are jobs that used to be profitable or you were able to get by, and now you're essentially making no money for doing the work that would have made you a decent living years ago. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, now I make like 8.75 an hour, and I'm only getting 6 hours a day. They cut back on hours, just depends on what center you work at. Um, it's it's been hard. I'm working in a new facility now. The facility I used to work at, they would pay you whenever they wanted to. Like you get paid maybe once a month, or
So you didn't have a set schedule. Not only are you not making a living wage, which people estimate now is $15 an hour, they were paying you. The daycare was paying you at uh, a rate that was just very erratic. You didn't know when you were going to get your next paycheck.
basically like say we're going to get paid on October 18th. We won't get paid until like the 30th. They'll say like your check is going to be held for a second, then they'll hold it back.
So tell us a little bit more about like your day to day, because people hear daycare and they think that's probably a very taxing and difficult day because people are giving you their kids for you to deal with. Can you tell us a little bit about your day to day and why you're making 875 for for doing such, I'm assuming, taxing work?
Yeah, well, we do lesson plans. We teach the kids like it's preschool. I'm a preschool teacher, so teach them the ABCs, the essential things that they need to know. Potty train them, change their diapers, feed them, take care of them. My center's open from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., so it's very tedious work, and I feel like we should get paid a little bit more, but it's not, you know, my say.
How many kids are you dealing with on a day to day basis?
It depends. It could be from 12 to about 24 kids.
It ranges from 12 to 20. So you could be taking care of 24 kids on any given day and be making 825.
Yes, along with another teacher because it's like a ratio thing. So 1 to 12 and 2 to 24. Yes.
So how are you able to get by on your current salary? Can you tell us a little bit about the struggles that you're facing in terms of living in an area that should be very middle class? Again, this is our disappearing middle class tour, but you're uh, at a job that is technically middle class, but are you having any difficulty finding basic necessities in this area?
Yes, it's very hard. I have to budget, and I'm currently looking for a second job just to, make means. My rent's like 5.65 a month, and I'm only making 8.75 an hour. Think about it. Like I'm only getting 6 hours of work a day, so I have to definitely budget. Every penny counts.
So you live in Ohio, obviously, Republican governor. He has basically said that the minimum wage is fine how it is. Donald Trump made him look really good in the primary, but John Kasich is a very right winger. You see that he has emphasized just slashing the budgets of cities like Euclid, that's how you pronounce it, right? So, how would you say the government of Ohio has helped you in terms of living day to day on the salary that you're currently making?
It's pretty hard. I think they should raise the minimum wage because of the fact that people live, certain circumstances. I'm 23. I live on my own. I think I should get paid a decent amount, at least $10, or something, versus 8.75. It's very hard, very difficult. I shouldn't have to work 2 jobs or 3 jobs just to pay my rent and put food on my table because I have to take care of myself. So I think the government should, help with that.
Did you go to college?
No, I did not go to college, but I have to go to college to be in daycare. I have to get my CDA, so I have to go back to school or at least get my associates in early childhood education just to be a preschool teacher. And then you only get like 9, 10 with your CDA, so it still doesn't even really matter.
How are you planning on paying for that school when you're already struggling to get by day to day?
Well, probably financial aid.
And then once you get that financial aid, how are you going to pay back those loans?
Working, I guess, saving up, paying it back. Probably have to get a second job. It's just like a cycle. You have to, you know, get more work.
So you're already considering taking a second job just to get by on a day to day, and now you need you need a job to a third job potentially just to get the schooling you need to do your first job.
Yes, that's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, it's just it is what it is. What I've been dealing with for a while. So
So you also don't have a car. How are you able to get to work to and from every day?
I just try to make it convenient as possible. Get a job that's closer to my home. I can either walk 15, 20 minutes, or if I have to go somewhere, I have to take the bus or Uber, which is super expensive. But I try not to do Uber. But the bus is like $95 a month for a bus pass. So
And do you have to walk to the bus? Like how long? Uh, say you had a car. How long would your commute be with your car? For
for a car, like maybe like 5, 10 minutes for work. Yeah.
and how long is it with the bus?
The bus, oh, like an hour, 2 hours, because all those stops and you gotta go. Like it's like a big old circle they have to go in. So I wish I had a car.
So your commute is essentially 10 to 15 times longer than it would
Yeah.
be if you had a car.
Yes, definitely is.
So again, President Obama has a lot, gotten a lot of credit from a lot of people in the mainstream media and in government for bringing the economy back, and they've talked a lot about how the middle class is reviving and it's on an upswing. You don't seem to be feeling those effects. What would you say to those in the federal government and in Washington who are touting their prowess in creating the middle class and fostering it after the economic collapse?
Well, they don't live that life. They're not living what I'm living, or dealing with what I have to deal with. So of course they're gonna say things like that. But it's hard for people like me, on a daily day basis, how to have to survive off of minimum wage. It's like 8.75 an hour, 6 hours a day, and have to look for other jobs and struggle and pay my rent. It's hard. Every month I have to worry about if I'm gonna pay my rent on time or if I have to borrow money from someone. It's hard. So they don't have to deal with that. The big dogs. They don't have to worry about it.
You and I are similar ages. I hope to one day have a family. I don't know about you, but I don't know how you can start a family with all of these potential loans for your schooling if you want to continue on this path with daycare and maybe working 2 or 3 jobs. Do you want to start a family anytime soon? Are you worried about that in the future?
I do want to have a family in the future. Just eventually I get my schooling and stuff out the way. Hopefully I'm married first. But I do want a family. It's hard. It's scary thinking about having kids. I don't see how people have 5 kids. It's very difficult nowadays to have a family. But I do want one. It's just financially hard right now.
And then you think about when you do have a family, will you be out of your own debt when your kids start to incur their own expenses? I think that's one of the biggest issues right now is the government doesn't have any plan in place for us, so how can we have a plan in place for our potential kids?
That's what I think about too. Their future and them going to school, and I don't know. There's a lot to think about, but that's why I don't have kids right now because I don't want to put them through what I'm going through. It's just ridiculous to bring more kids in the world and they have to struggle. I don't want my children to struggle. So
They say that we are the only generation that does not think that our kids will have the same quality of life that we do.
yeah, I agree.